Greetings, adventurers. Just a heads up to the parents out there, you're going to want to wait until the kids are out of the room to listen to this week's episode. There's no swears or mature content. Nobody has ever accused us of being mature. But later in the show, we talk about different versions of Santa Claus around the world, and we don't want any little ears to get the wrong idea about the existence of the man in red. So listen after bedtime or throw on some headphones and enjoy the show. Welcome to another gathering of the Gold Key Adventurers Society. Have a seat by the fire as we prepare to help you unlock the secrets of the travel life. From theme park thrills to Purple Mountain's majesty, we want to see it all and do it all, and we want to help you do the same. We all have those bucket list trips, once-in-a-lifetime destinations that we'll get to someday. We're here to help you make your travel dreams a reality. Buy the ticket, take the trip. Where do you want to go?
Come on, come on, come on, now tell me what's on your bucket list. Okay, hey, okay, hey. It's a beautiful day. Okay, hey, okay, hey. It's a beautiful day.
Ho, ho, ho! There's only 2 more sleeps until Christmas, and we're having a holiday party to get in the mood. But first, travel news, including Walt Disney World's exciting new package, virtual solstice with the druids at Stonehenge, and the swankiest igloo ever built in the middle of Times Square. Pour me some eggnog and pass the snickerdoodles. It's time to hit the trail with the Gold Key Adventure Society! There. Welcome to the Gold Key Adventure Society office holiday party. The fondue is piping hot, there's mountains of Christmas cookies everywhere you look, and Dave is sitting over in the corner dressed up as Santa and trying to get guests to sit on his lap. Jess and Heather are over by the punch bowl. I heard a rumor that they've got some hot goss on what's going on around the travel world this week. But before they spill the tea, I was wondering, what festive libation is in your cup of holiday cheer this year? You can go to
hot goss.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to have hot goss. They put me on a list. I'm a man in my 40s.
In my mouth when I said it. No.
It was not good.
Said she.
My refrigerator just died and we just had to have it replaced. So as far as my favorite libation during the holidays, it's everything in the fridge because it's all going to go bad before the
like
new
when you go
fridge
to
gets
7-Eleven, you mix all of the Slurpee flavors together in one cup.
Oh, yeah, the suicide.
Yeah, share it with 2 girls.
Gross. Mine is the traditional Christmas gin and tonic.
Yes, traditional.
Yep.
We sing songs about that every year, right?
Yes, we do.
I'm a bourbon guy. I drank some bourbon last night, just sipping on bourbon. I used to hate that, but the older I get, the more I burned it out my taste buds, the more I like that.
Put a cinnamon stick in it, and you got yourself a
there
Christmas
you go.
libation.
Yeah, you gotta do something to make it a little festive, right? Nobody's a fan of the old eggnog.
Ugh, gross.
Oh, no.
I do like eggnog. We don't have any yet. Gary's getting some today. I like it with a little bourbon or rum. Either one is delightful.
I'm a fan, but it's like $12 for half a gallon, though, these days. And
It's too viscous.
Yeah.
That's why you put a bunch of liquor in it. It cuts that viscosity.
Oh, I got you.
I don't want my holiday beverages to be non-Newtonian fluids, so I'm not into that.
Yeah, mostly to ring in the new year, we will go for adrenochrome. That youthful blood really gets us going for the next year.
well, that's good. That's good. Well, this week, Christmas is brought to you by Key to the World Travel. Key to the World Travel is a full-service travel agency specializing in theme parks, cruising, and destinations around the world. Head to www.keytotheworldtravel.com for more details and a no-obligation quote on the vacation of a lifetime. Jess, I heard a rumor there's going to be a hot new deal offered on Walt Disney World vacation packages soon.
I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. I just had to throw you off because you finally pitched me really well. Sorry about that.
That's because I wrote it out in advance.
I know. I saw the pitch. I was like, oh, he's going to do this one right for once. I'm going to
Wait. What do you mean
For
right?
once, he's
What
a
do you mean
consummate
right?
professional. I mean, he's a constipated professional.
I work with what you guys give me.
I just love saying that and looking at everybody's expressions of just like, oh, what? All right.
I was like,
Well,
does he
okay,
somehow
then.
not know this?
Didn't do my homework. Yeah, so we've got a new package coming out for Walt Disney World. This is their Happy New Year promotion. So beginning January 5th, can't book it now, but beginning January 5th, you'll be able to book a non-discounted 4-night, 3-day room and ticket package at select Disney resort hotels. And for arrivals, most nights January 8th through September 25th, which is pretty big. And it's if you book that package, you're going to receive additional 2 days of theme park tickets.
2 free tickets.
Yeah, so that's a nice deal. And
days.
yeah, and that's a pretty big travel window going from January all the way to September. So
To book a
Yeah.
package with how many days and get how many days?
so it's a 4-night, 3-day room and ticket package. And they don't say exactly how many
Or
tickets you
more,
have to
right? You
purchase
can
already.
book 7
Or
and
more.
get
Yeah, usually with
Either.
all that, you can always add on. It's not like they'd say no to more money, but
Stay out with your cash.
yeah, we don't want that. And if you don't qualify for that, or if that doesn't work for you, there's also a promotion to save up to 35% off select resorts for January 3rd through April 17th going on as well.
They're mixing it up, giving us a bunch of notice this time.
Yeah, it's
Usually we
surprising.
find out 4 minutes before it releases on the website.
Well, let's be honest. We find out about it, and then it actually you can like get through the system about 4 hours later. So
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm kind of surprised it
That's
took them
accurate.
this long to jump on that. Get some free, like,
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
another theme park down the road.
It's down the road.
it's been pretty
been
popular
doing
for Universal.
free ticket days. It's a very
It's a
popular promo.
killer
yeah.
deal, though. Too.
Interestingly, though, depending on where you stay and whatever, the room discount is often better, but
Yeah.
getting something free is
Yeah.
always more appealing on
Well,
paper.
those park tickets are.
yeah, this is like
And it
the
is-
free
yeah,
dining.
What, Dan?
It is true that
those
park tickets are pretty expensive.
awfully
so,
pricey these
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
gonna be a good chunk.
Do the math or have your key little
Have your-
travel advisor do
Yeah.
the math for you.
We are
There it
well
is.
trained in punching buttons on a calculator.
They're experts.
Yes.
Mathing.
Math. It's what's for dinner.
Something else that's for dinner. Heather, tell us about virtual Stonehenge.
I don't know if that's what's for dinner.
Well, I work with what
Segues.
you guys give me.
Yeah. Like everything else in 2020, Stonehenge has decided that the winter solstice needs to go virtual this year. They're putting the word out to all the Wiccans and pagans out there who love to amass at Stonehenge on December 21st to watch the sunrise over Stonehenge for the winter solstice that they don't want you there this year. So they decided to live stream the rising of the sun on winter solstice.
All right.
Yeah, kind of interesting. I wasn't planning on making a pilgrimage to Stonehenge for it anyway, so maybe I'll check it out.
Well, I consider myself a techno Wiccan, so this fits right into my ethos anyway. You know.
You can visit it at english-heritage.org.uk and watch the perfect sunrise over Stonehenge on winter solstice.
That does actually sound lovely.
It does sound pretty cool. Apparently, the way that Stonehenge is arranged, twice a year, the sunrise fits perfectly into I don't know what you call the space in between the stones. Kind of looks like a window.
We'll go with the window.
So every year on the two solstices, that's when it
Solstice.
happens. The solstice is it?
I don't
It
know.
is now.
Yeah, so the stones are set up so that they perfectly frame the sun on the winter solstice and the summer solstice. Shortest and longest day of the year. Kind of cool.
Or you put them together. Longest.
That's Jeff's
That's
favorite day
something
of the year.
different.
And how come We're all so slow. I'm racking my brains for a Spinal Tap joke here, and it's just not coming to me.
Yeah, I always think of the tiny little Stonehenge with the little people dancing around it from.
No one knew who they were, what they were doing.
He was in peril of being trod on by a dwarf. That was a
Stonehenge,
the most famous henge in the world. Yeah. Well, so if you were planning to spend your winter solstice at Stonehenge, the good people in England would have requested that you do so virtually, like the rest of 2020 has been.
Boo.
But I also
Wi-Fi is out there.
interestingly read, this was a travel and leisure article about Stonehenge. And the next article was the editors consulted psychics to find out the future of travel in 2021. And the psychics are telling me that by summer, we should be able to go to England and see Stonehenge in person.
weird.
The
Wow.
psychics are saying.
The psychics
amazing
that they
that the-
consulted, yes.
All those psychics that predicted this whole thing happening before it happened, and they were in the
Right.
news, and we all listened to
Yeah.
them. Yeah, those
Yeah.
guys.
Yep, they say Broadway and Las Vegas will be back by mid-June. I mean, you can go to Vegas right now already, so I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't know if you really want to go to
missed
Vegas
that.
right now. From everything I've heard, it's kind
I'm
of a
certain that I
Probably
did.
not.
it's a
Probably
sad-
not.
sad.
This one was my favorite. They predict that tropical destinations will see a surge in bookings.
It's the
There we
only
are.
place you can
they
go,
already
you
are, and
morons.
you just check the trends.
I predict that I just read the Travel and Leisure article about how that's already happening.
Yes. And the main psychic that they consulted, a medium and Reiki healer, says that all travel will be 100% back to normal by Labor Day. Ugh. I think she's probably not wrong, but that still seems like a long way away.
I don't even think that it's going to be back to normal then.
If there's an expert that I would trust to judge the travel industry, it's a person who heals a person just by thinking about them. That's definitely the person I would go to.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
While you're blowing on my head and harnessing my chi, can you tell me
Is
if I
that
can
what
get a
is
good?
that what Reiki is?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole thing
Yeah,
where they blow
it's
on
like
you.
non-contact.
It's-
Yeah,
Okay.
you direct the
Yeah.
energies. It's
Mm.
amazing. Yeah.
Huh.
Well, Jess
That's
has a
weird.
more concrete
I
prediction
want him to be
for
Reiki'd.
some travel openings next year. What's the good news, Jess?
Well, we have some opening dates for more of Walt Disney World's closed resorts coming up. We've got Disney's All-Star Movies Resort will be will be
Just been waiting
accepting.
for that one.
I know. Hey, they have a really good tomato soup. I stand by that. They'll be accepting guests starting on March 22nd. Disney's Beach Club Resort will be beginning on May 30th, and
Nice.
Disney's Wilderness Lodge will be beginning on June 6th. So
Yeah,
still a
and
ways
the
away for
Wilderness
those.
Lodge will be opening with all new rehabbed rooms. So
Hold
that's
up.
exciting.
I could swear I've stayed at the Wilderness Lodge since the
You've
pandemic.
stayed at Copper Creek, the DVC half of the Wilderness Lodge.
Ah, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
right
that's
in the
good.
middle of refurbing all of the regular hotel rooms there. So I'm excited to see what they've done.
Yeah,
to
last
the
time I stayed there,
place.
I noticed that everything felt a little weathered. So,
It
And
hadn't
not
been
in the art, not
updated
in the way
a
the
while.
Imagineers
Yeah.
intended.
yeah, it didn't
Yes.
feel, wildernessy. It just felt kind of old. So I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, they seem to be taking advantage of the downtime right now with both at Wilderness Lodge and at Poly. So that'll be nice to have some. Poly was in need of a bit of an update too. Those
Yeah.
rooms hadn't been
And in-
refurbed in quite a while.
And in new Disney fashion, they're going to make the whole thing into some
Yeah.
IP.
Yes. Interesting to see what they do at Wilderness Lodge. Mostly they've had Chip and Dale.
Yeah,
And
there's not
then
anything.
Some Bambi in the
No.
shower. Didn't the shower tiles have
Yeah,
Bambi on them? Yeah.
there's nothing really current that they could base things off of.
Yeah, but if
so
they
I'm not
handle it-
sure. They'd have
I
to get
know.
creative.
Brother Bear.
Oof.
How about
So popular.
I
How
love
about
Brother Bear.
Humphrey
I like
the Bear?
it.
They embrace him out at Disneyland.
He's already
Is he
in
at the
there.
Wilderness Lodge?
In a-
Yeah,
in
a
Yeah,
some
little
but
bit.
more.
Is he the one
Yeah, a
from
little
the
bit.
Yeah, those
Donald
old
Duck?
Donald Duck cartoons.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The old
I love
camping
those
ones.
cartoons.
Well, I love the Wilderness Lodge, and I'm anxious to see
It's
what
one of my
they've done to the
favorites.
place.
I love both igloos and New York City. Heather, what you got for me?
Well, if you were a New York resident, then this story would be for you. But unfortunately, they're limiting this offer only to residents of New York State. Mostly probably because they are discouraging anyone from traveling to their fair state right now and bringing their germs with them. But this caught my eye because we had just talked last week or the week before about watching the ball drop in Times Square and how we all kind of said, nah, it's cold. You got to be standing out there for a really long time and there's no bathrooms. Well, Airbnb has teamed up with NASDAQ, which is a little weird, to offer up some igloos in Times Square right underneath the ball that you can rent for one night. It's a beautiful geodesic dome with gorgeous panoramic views of the city and an unobstructed vista of the sparkling ball. I have to think that these are probably going to be pretty expensive because it comes with a $5,000 shopping credit to use on Fifth Avenue.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But it's basically a glass geodesic dome with a bed and a table and chairs. And I'm not sure where the bathroom is. I'm assuming you have access one to somewhere. Yeah, maybe there's a chamber
it's in
pot under the bed.
store
I don't
where
know.
you got your gift certificate too.
Yes. Everyone who stays in these, so they're available to book for New York residents starting on December 21st for one night. And everyone who spends a night in them will also get a piece of the Waterford Crystal ball from Times Square as a memento. And this is the part, this is the part that might have been a deal breaker for me were I a New York resident able to book one of these. You also get a personal serenade from Mariah Carey.
Yeah, no thank you.
Yeah, that's what I would, maybe not. She's acting as your virtual host for the night. And as part of your stay, you'll get a virtual personal
So that
serenade.
means she's not just
from her.
singing at you. She's going to pop in and interrupt your night occasionally the entire time. Oof.
Possibly,
Oof.
but
Yeah,
virtually.
but still.
So you could always just turn her off.
You don't.
We see an iPad on a stick rolling
Maybe
around.
it's robot Mariah Carey. That could be fun.
Isn't she already?
For Christmas,
For all you know, they've got some hardwired speakers and you can't shut her off. And that's just.
Yeah,
That sounds-
exactly.
I really want to know the price on this.
Well, we could maybe check it out and report back. It is only open to New Yorkers, but you'll be able to book it on Airbnb starting on December 21st. And in order to complete the booking, you'll have to show residency proof, but we might be able to get a sneak peek of what they're charging without actually booking it. I'm
I feel like
kind
if
of
you're
intrigued.
in a sealed environment like that, it seems pretty safe. Why would it be only?
I guess they just don't want anyone to travel from out of state into New York to book it. It does look, it looks pretty spectacular. It's kind of elevated above Times Square on what looks like a big patio. So I guess I'm assuming that the bathroom is going to be in the building that the geodesic dome is set up on. Or as we said, the chamber pot underneath the bed could be a real authentic Christmas experience. Authentic from what I have no idea, but
Some of the rooftops I've seen in New York, people don't need a bathroom up there. They just
maybe it's authentic in that we did discuss that if you're out trying to watch the ball drop, that you need to wear a diaper, so because you won't be able to get into a bathroom anywhere. But at least you won't be cold. It does appear to be heated. So if you live in New York, check it out and report back to us.
I think
Let
given
us
the
know.
choice, I'd rather drop $500,000 on one of those Arctic Circle igloos personally. But
Oh, absolutely. 100.
I'd rather buy a really nice home for $500,000.
That too.
well, a really nice experience that you don't have to spend $500,000 on is some exciting new food offerings at the Swan and Dolphin hotels at Walt Disney World Resort.
The Swolfen.
yes. The dolphin and the big fish are having food events coming in for 2021. On Saturday, January 16th and February 27th, the resort's going to host the Food and Wine Classic, A Taste of Swan and Dolphin.
Everything is a taste of the festivals this year.
Everything's a taste. Nothing's a dollop or a smidge.
And everything is made with swan
whatever.
and dolphin meat.
Ooh.
Yum.
Chicken of
this
the
is going to
sea.
take. This is going to take place from 5:30 to 8 p.m. They're going to have 10 food stations from the hotel's award-winning restaurants and more than 50 beverage offerings, as well as some live entertainment and unlimited food and beverage tastings, including dessert selections from the hotel's world champion pastry chef, Laurent Branlard.
We just recently tried out some of the restaurants in the Swolfen, and they're excellent, actually.
Yeah.
Had never set foot in there before.
I have never been in either of those. Hotels.
Beautiful hotels. And what the Shula's Steakhouse in there was something good.
Yeah, it's pretty high rated. They're also going to have a big game tailgate watch party on Sunday, February 7th at 6 p.m. That's going to start 30 minutes prior to kickoff and last through the end of the game.
What's the big game?
We can't say it.
Of course, they can't say it's a bowl that is stupendous. It's a superfluous container.
Got it.
Careful.
Yeah. And
A superfluous container. I'm having a superfluous container party this year. How about you guys?
The extra special Troughed party is going to have 7 food stations and unlimited craft beer and wine, and tickets can be purchased for all of these at swandolphinfoodandwineclassic.com.
Wow, that's a lot of words.
Yeah,
It's right on par for a Disney offering, though. So
I mean, it's
Yeah.
if they're on Disney property, that's part of their contract. They have to add extra words into everything.
That's fair. Those are great. I would check those out. I was surprised, of all the times I've been to Walt Disney World for so many years, multiple times a year, I've never gone to either the Swan or the Dolphin. We checked them both out and really liked them, actually.
Yeah, they're working on a big expansion right now. So
Yeah, the Swan Reserve, just sort of across the street, looks gorgeous. And it's going to have some pretty nice sweets in it.
It's weird when you're driving, it's across the street, but when you're at the thing, it's just down the little path. You don't actually cross the street like it seems like you do.
Should
Thoughts
be nice.
to ponder.
let's ponder for a second. That's enough. Stick around because after the commercial break, we're mingling at the Gold Key Adventure Society Christmas party and discussing weird and wonderful holiday traditions from around the world.
When it comes to planning your next adventure, knowledge and preparation are always key. That's why a call to your Key to the World Travel Vacation Planner should always be at the top of your to-do list when you feel the urge to venture forth and explore the world. Key to the World Travel is an authorized Disney vacation planner, specializing in travel to Disney theme parks around the world, as well as Disney Cruise Line, Aulani, and Adventures by Disney. With over 450 travel advisors who share a deep love for Disney destinations, Key to the World Travel has a wealth of knowledge and passion to help you experience all the magic with none of the work. Wherever your wanderlust is driving you, Key to the World Travel is a full-service travel agency with the expertise to get you where you want to go. So whether you're headed to Universal Studios, Hawaii, Europe, or somewhere a little farther off the beaten track, your first step should always be to visit www.keytotheworldtravel.com for a no-obligation quote. Their expert travel planners are standing by to help you with every detail of your perfect vacation. That's www.keytotheworldtravel.com or at Key to the World Travel on Facebook. Key to the World Travel, your key to a magical vacation.
All right, everybody, it's time to top off your cup of Christmas cheer, grab a handful of cookies, and let's go mingle. There's so many weird, wonderful, and fascinating Christmas traditions around the world. We didn't have enough time to cover them all during the last few weeks, so we wanted to share some more today. And first up, I wanted to tell you guys all about the strange little figure tucked away in the corner of nativity scenes in the Catalonian region of Spain, known only as El Caganer.
This guy gives Elf on the Shelf a
Yeah.
whole new spin.
Well, yeah. So in that part of Spain, which how do you say Barcelona there, Jeff? Yeah.
Barcelona.
Yeah, I can't say this. I don't talk as good as you. They they really go all out with their nativity scenes. They don't just make a little stable with the key characters in the story. They recreate the entire town of Bethlehem in these giant layouts that they make for their nativity scenes. And one figure who's always hiding away somewhere is this little fella who's pinching off a loaf in the streets. I don't know.
Tis the season.
Tis the season to
And nobody
poop in the
really
street.
knows how or why this became part of the tradition. Some people that say that it's got something to do with showing the equality of all people because everybody poops. Other
I just thought he was really surprised.
Yeah.
I just thought he was caught off guard. He's
well,
like,
yeah, that's the other theory. Is it symbolizes the idea that God will manifest Himself when He's ready, without regard to whether humans are ready for Him. And
So he's like the UPS man. He always shows up when I'm taking a crap.
Yes,
And
exactly.
other people think that it's just because people from the Catalonia are weird and they've got strange senses of humor. But so if you, he's generally hidden away in an alleyway or a corner somewhere, so you have to kind of search for him. And the other neat thing is there's the traditional version of him where he looks like a little guy who's going to run with the bulls. He's in the white shirt with the red sash around his waist, and he's got a red little beret on his head. And that's the traditional version. But it's evolved where now you can get all kinds of custom versions of this guy. I'm looking at, there's a Hello Kitty with a nice little pink turd behind her that you can put in your nativity scene. There's a there's a Darth Vader with an all black loaf between his legs.
Oh my word!
What?
So it comes.
Oh yeah,
with
no,
a turd?
it's got a tiny little curl of feces behind the character's bare buttocks. There's one here with I think that's Pope. Is that Benedict? I think, or Francis. I can't tell which Pope that is. But it's definitely a Pope with some poop behind him. And then there's this picture it's a picture of shelves in a shop with all of these different guys. I can pick out Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, the Dalai Lama, Fidel Castro.
Wow.
I don't know who those guys are, but then there's an astronaut, there's a female doctor, there's a Cupid, there's a SpongeBob SquarePants, there's fisherman, there's a Tintin, there's Spider-Man. So you can really customize your
I'm just wondering how long it'll be before we have the Disney Wishables Cagner line.
I sure hope so.
And say what you will, though. I have to say, like, one more thing, though. Just say what you will. Like, it may be crappy to take a crap next to the birth of the Savior, but that's still a better gift than myrrh.
That's fair. That's fair.
Or a drum solo.
Yeah.
Well, this goes really well with the other Catalan tradition. So we talked a little bit about Yule logs and how now that's turned into the French making a log-shaped cake, Bûche de Noël, every year. I did look that up, and it turns out it was actually a pagan tradition, and they basically burned nice-smelling logs at the end of the year over winter solstice to clean out the evil spirits from the house.
I thought it was to cover up the Cagner smell.
It may be. Well, the Spanish have taken it further, and they have their Yule log is called cagatillo, or Tio de Nadal, and it is a log that when you beat it with a stick, it poops out candy. This is real. There's even a little song that goes along with it, the lyrics of which are poop log of Christmas. Don't poop salted herring. They are too salty. Poop turons. They are much better. Apparently a turon is a little log of nougat. So that's what it's supposed to be. You hit your poop log with a stick, and it leaves you little nougat candies.
Well, and then
Wow.
my internet cut out for a second, so I don't know if you hit that. But did you mention the fact that before Christmas Eve, when they beat the stick to get the nougat, first they feed the log for a couple of weeks?
Oh, yes. You're supposed to feed it things like scraps of food, pieces of orange rind, and then you beat it with a wooden spoon, and you lift up the blanket that it sits on, and underneath will be all these delicious treats that it has pooped out for you.
Yay.
Yeah, nobody really knows this. Same with the little pooping guy. Nobody seems to know where this tradition came from or what it's supposed to symbolize. It's just what
Or
you do
why they still
in
do
that
it.
Part of Spain, yes. You can buy them in all the Christmas markets. They are cute little, like, actual logs with people have painted faces and put googly eyes on them.
Yeah, they're
little
super
red
adorable.
cats. And little legs. They are pretty cute. Yeah, you get it at the beginning of December, and if you feed it all month, he'll poop some nice
I think we're going
treats
to do
for
this
you.
next year in my house. My kids would really get into the pooping log.
Absolutely.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Daddy, make the log poop again, please.
How do you decide who gets to smack the poop log with the,
We'll
with the
take
wooden
turns.
spoon?
This will turn into an all-day event with my kids. That's just knowing them.
It's like maybe it's like how most families have a poop knife.
What? Excuse me?
Oh, no.
Yeah,
you want to
I need an
elaborate on that?
explanation.
Yeah, maybe not.
Probably not.
You guys don't have one?
That's not a Christmas tradition. That's an all-year tradition.
So many of the Christmas traditions, when they're not talking about feces, are talking about the torture of children. What is with that?
This is true. There's so many like that.
Yeah, like the Germany, Hungary, and Austria have Krampus, and that's the whole, U.S. In the U.S., kids get a lump of coal if you've been bad, but here you get dragged away by the demon Krampus, beast-like creature that shows up in order to punish the ill-behaved. If he discovers a particularly bad child, he bundles him into a sack and carts him away for a midnight snack. I mean, you really got to be a bad kid to
Yeah.
get taken away by
Well, when we
this. There's
talked
so many
about
of these kinds
the
of...
Yule lads last week, didn't the mom want to
Yeah.
boil the children
Yes.
in her
Yeah.
cauldron if they were bad?
And there's another one I found
Yeah.
in Denmark. There's these vengeful house elves called Nisa that if you don't give them some sweet rice porridge, they come and kill your cow.
Oh, dear.
What if you don't have a cat?
That is,
Then
that is
maybe they take the
overkill, don't
child
you think?
instead. But yeah,
They really like porridge, Jess.
Yeah.
Apparently.
that's what they leave out instead of cookies. There apparently.
There's the Netherlands has something similar. This one is a little bit it's a little bit racist. Their Saint Nick is accompanied by someone that they call Zwarte Piet, which is Black Pete, and he is described as being from the Moors in Spain. But it led to the unfortunate tradition of the Dutch going around wearing blackface.
In blackface.
Yeah, so probably not really a good idea. But the idea of him was that he would take the bad children and put them in a sack and haul them away into slavery.
Yeah.
So it's yet another bad children being...
Maybe this is why
After
European
kills.
children behave so much better. The American kids are
Yes,
like, I don't
indeed.
care if I get a lump of coal, but the European ones are going to be dragged away in a sack and drowned or beaten or whatever
these
fun
traditions
Christmas tradition.
They all sound like they're based on parents, like just wishful thinking. It's like either you act good or you get taken away. Oh,
Which one?
yeah. Oh, you know what? Act bad. That's fine.
I will say that when my now 19-year-old son was a baby, he was a terrible, terrible sleeper. He would get up, climb out of his crib or little bed, and just wander around the house. He did not ever want to sleep. So it wasn't until he could talk a little and we could talk to him that we got a little Santa Claus doll and put it on his dresser. This was around probably the 1st of December, and told him that Santa was watching him, and if he did anything wrong in the night, like get up and wander around the house, that Santa wouldn't come for him. And it worked. It worked great. He wound up staying in bed. He slept through the night for the first time when he was like 2. After
So
this,
you're saying you started the elf on the shelf tradition?
yeah, I guess so. This was the Santa. It was from the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer Santa. It was a little figurine set, and it just sat on his dresser, pointing all dead-eyed right at his crib. But it worked, and that thing stayed on his shelf till he was about 5.
It's the new trend, guilt trip Santa.
Yeah, but it works. Santa wasn't going to carry him away in a sack and kill him, but he sure wasn't bringing any presents.
Good.
But Santa knows who to call in case it gets there, all right? So don't push it.
Have we
People
discussed?
get crazy with those elf on the shelf.
That is the weird. Do your kids do that? Did yours do that?
No.
Wyatt came right like at the wrong time for that. It was kind of right after that got real popular after he was little, and it was too late.
We did for a couple of years, but it was, my kids were both on the cusp of that too. But we did it for a couple of years, and it ended when my son noticed we had put the elf up on the ceiling fan, and one of my kids noticed that he had a tag on his butt that said "Made in China." Yeah, his name was Stanley.
That's where the North Pole
Elves
is.
can come from all over. Come on.
Should have cut that tag off. But they had gotten old enough to be able to read, and we're like, okay.
We got a ornament for the tree that looks like a security camera that says Santa Cam on it. We told him that this is the
Nice.
updated version. This way he doesn't have to send elves out to every single house, so we don't have to do that nonsense. It's perfect.
Nice.
Oh, is that
I
the
have some
conceit
friends
of
who
the elf
do.
on a shelf? Is that he's watching you to?
Yeah. He's
Yeah,
Santa's
the elf
spy.
goes back and tells Santa every
night. He flies
Yeah.
back to the North Pole, and that's why he's in a different spot
No.
the next day when you wake up.
Yeah, but now it's turned
Isn't
into
he?
all these ridiculous things, like they're caught ziplining
yeah.
and all this
Yes.
ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. It's constantly screwing up your house. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
inviting that into
That's
this.
the Pinterest
Yeah.
Mom's Gone Wild version.
It is definitely, and there's I still see some pretty elaborate stuff
Oh
posted
yeah,
on Facebook every day.
I think it would be
just go with
probably
the
pretty
old-fashioned,
fun, but
like-
I'm certain I would forget to move it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
We just go with the old-fashioned Santa's magic. I don't
There
know
you
how he
go.
sees. He's magic. You know,
Yeah.
Talk to him.
he's a wizard.
He sees you when you're sleeping, and by God, he knows when you're awake.
He's got Merlin in his employ. He's on it.
Have we discussed the Yule cat from Iceland? I can't remember with these
we
Icelandic names.
briefly mentioned it last week.
The
Yeah.
Yeah, where if you don't get new clothes, you get eaten.
Yeah.
You either get a
yeah.
sweater or you're dead.
We do need to circle back to
Yes.
Krampus for a second, though, because have you seen what goes on during the Krampusnacht parades? They
No,
gather
please
out in
tell
the
me.
streets, and the young men of the town dress up like Krampus in terrifying outfits, and they carry around bundles of birch sticks, which they use to spank any young women who are unlucky enough to run across them. Yes, it's a night of public.
Meanwhile, there's a lot of young women out here at this parade.
It's a night of public
Yeah.
spankings where they pretend to be.
It's like the Christmas
Yeah,
purge.
It's insane. Be careful
Sounds
when
like
you
my prom
be
night.
careful when you if you Google this, because the first result that came up for me is from a website that's mainstreamspanking.wordpress.com,
It's on WordPress.
and they're really into
They had to close down their
they're really
GeoCities
into
site.
the spanking side of the Krampus story. But yeah, so apparently you got to be careful on Krampusnacht, otherwise.
So you're gonna get
Yeah.
beaten with a stick.
Well, so I've got some stuff from Japan, and
Oh, goody.
they're relatively new to Christmas in the scheme of things. They didn't really start celebrating until the 1800s, and so it's
when
right when Colonel Sanders landed on those shores. The mercenary. So one of their biggest traditions, also as we've found through some of my weird Japanese things on the show, is the loneliness is a big problem in Japan. There's a lot of very lonely people. So one of their biggest traditions currently is apparently the holiday itself is a lot like Valentine's Day. It's very focused on couples. So, but if you're lonely and you don't have anybody to be with on Christmas, you can enjoy a yearly live television show for lonely people that's called the Akashia Santa Shijo Sadai No Christmas Present Show. And this is hosted. It's hosted by a talk show host, and people can write in and share their stories of loneliness from throughout the year. And if they're sad enough, then he'll choose you to call in and be on the show and talk about how sad and lonely you are. And then you get to, if he likes your sad story, then you get to pick a number from a bingo board, and you can win prizes like, weird anime t-shirts and things like that. And so this year, I just love their explanation for this year is, when you go to the webpage, is LOL with unfortunate story on the holy night. Live phone calls from that celebrity who is a hot topic in the turbulent entertainment world. We are soliciting live broadcasts of unfortunate phone calls that will win luxurious prizes this year as well. Unpredictable, angry 2-hour live broadcast. I'm not sure why it's so angry.
I'm going to have to check that out.
Yeah. And it's just this dude basically hanging out in the living room dressed as Santa, talking to really sad people.
That's sad.
I know, but at least they have something to do.
Someone to
Live
talk
show.
to. For
That's
change.
true.
Yeah. They can go and hang out with a stuffed animal and eat dinner and then call into a show and cry.
Wow. You're bringing me down, man.
You could always pay for a lady to stare at you. We learned that now. Come
Yeah,
on.
that's true.
While you snuggle up to your girlfriend pillow. Or boyfriend pillow.
Yes.
No, she went home for the holidays. She had other
That's
plans.
sad when
So-
even your
Ouch.
pillow abandons you.
In a pandemic.
Dan, you shared some crazy stuff that the Victorians used to do at Christmas. Tell us about snap
Complete with hair.
Yeah. I don't
Ew.
think there's too much hair involved in this one. I was listening the other day at work because I'm a weird person. I was listening to Tim Curry read the audiobook of The Christmas Carol. And during this...
Oh, gotcha.
I'll listen to him read anything.
Yeah.
He'd read the
For
phone
sure.
book. He's awesome.
I have
it's a...
Audible.
Yeah, so there's the scene where the Ghost of Christmas Present takes him to his nephew Fred's house, and they describe some of the games that they play on Christmas. And so I was kind of curious about what was going on, and it turns out that the Victorians were kind of freaky, and they're not as straight-laced as everybody likes to think of them being. They had a lot of fun at Christmas time. So they in the book they call it playing. They called it playing forfeits, but it was basically truth or dare. They would also call it. Questions and commands. And so they would, truth or dare, and you'd have to pay a consequence if you decline to answer or follow the commands of the. Do the dare, you'd either get a monetary fine or they might even wash your face with soot from the fireplace. This whole time they're all drinking strong ale mixed with nutmeg and sugar or maybe some wassail or something. They'd play a game called Hoop and Hide, which was similar to hide and seek, where people would hide around the house and go search for them. If you were caught in or near a bed, then you had to kiss the person who found you. They would play. Did you guys ever play?
That sounds naughty.
I think that was.
Yeah.
Everybody would just go hide in their bed.
Well, yeah, that was the whole point of it, I think. Did you guys ever play Blind Man's Bluff when you were a kid? Yeah, where you,
Sure.
so one person's blindfolded and you've got to kind of try to catch people around the room. It's kind of like.
It's kind of like Marco Polo, but not in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like blind tag. Well, when the Victorians would play it, they played in the house, and you were encouraged to put pieces of furniture or whatever you wanted in the path of the person playing, so they would trip and injure themselves terribly. They described that in
Victorian Britain's funniest home videos.
In Christmas Carol, where they try to tangle them up in the curtains and trip them over the footstools and everything. So you'd probably leave this party bruised up. But then the best, and this is just insane, is a game called
This
Snapdragon.
is crazy.
And what you do, and the Gold Key Adventure Society does not recommend that you actually try this, but if you want to,
Don't
if you do
this
try this at home, please take a video and share it with us.
And maybe play it outside.
So what you do is you take a shallow bowl or a large plate, and you make a pile of maybe some raisins and some almonds, maybe some little dried plums, whatever fruit you've got laying around, and then you fill that bowl or plate up with some brandy so that the fruit's kind of floating around in it, and then you light that sucker on fire.
Light it on fire.
You wait and you make sure that you've got a nice low blue flame. Apparently, when the lights are dim, it looks really creepy, kind of ghostly fire burning, right?
It's a fire in your home.
And then what you do is you sit around this bowl of fire and you take turns reaching into it, trying to grab a raisin, and then you pop it still burning into your mouth to eat the boozy raisins that are still burning. You put it out
while
you put
it's
the
on
flames
fire
out in your mouth.
And they wondered why there were so many Victorian house fires.
Well, they put open candles on their Christmas trees. So
with lace curtains nearby.
Well, apparently there was another. Well, first, apparently this game works because the alcohol burns at a lower temperature than like candle wood or something. So it's not that bad.
It's maybe not as dangerous
and if you're
as
quick,
it sounds.
you're not going to burn yourself. They also had another variation of this game where you take a mug and you take a candle and you'd burn it and drip some of the melted wax in the bottom of the mug, and then stick the candle to it. So you're using the mug like a candlestick. Fill the mug up with beer, and you take turns trying to drink the beer without burning yourself on the candle. Because
that's why the Victorian Christmas photos all had a man with a half a beard.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Life was apparently bleak in Victorian times, and that's what you had to do to feel something.
Yeah. It was bleak and boring, so you played games with fire.
So you get drunk and try not to set yourself on fire.
Exactly.
That's why they were all covered in
So
soot.
like I said, we don't necessarily encourage you to attempt any of these tricks, but if you do, please send video to us.
Please
because
get
we
that
would
on video.
really like to see that. I kind of want to try playing Snapdragon, actually.
America, you're on fire.
And I'll take a video of you playing Snapdragon.
I'd rather stick to the better Victorian games like Chalkboards Against Humanity.
I get that reference.
It sounds like it. Has anyone heard of The Night of the Radishes?
Yeah.
I think that was a B movie that was made in the 70s, right?
It was the sequel to Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Yeah. This is apparently a Christmas tradition in Mexico. And they create
Which state?
elaborate scene. I can't say that.
It doesn't stop me.
Oaxaca?
Oaxaca.
Oaxaca. Oaxaca? Is it Oaxaca?
Yeah,
You're
Oaxaca.
right. I have heard that before, but I never knew how it was spelled.
I think they have a cheese. That's probably the only reason
It's
I
in
know.
Oaxaca, Mexico. And it's a tradition where they create elaborate scenes out of
Makes
radishes.
sense.
It looks kind of
what are you gonna do, eat
kind of
them?
cool.
Yeah, it's better than eating them.
I like eating radishes. What's wrong with a radish?
Well, they
You don't
taste
like
like spiced dirt.
I'm not a Fraggle, so I'm not a fan.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah,
There's
the
some pretty
picture
cool-
that we have
cool
on this
pictures.
article is pretty elaborate stuff.
Is there a
And
radish?
these are
tag on it?
larger radishes than I thought I've ever seen.
Yeah, I've never seen a giant radish like this before. And apparently
That's
they
what she
sell them
said.
not to eat. They sell them not to eat, but to carve into elaborate decorations for your Christmas table.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, we have,
cool.
I guess, gourds and all that over here. They just have radishes over there.
Interesting.
And in the Ukraine, they have the famous spiderweb tree where
Ooh.
Christmas trees are often decorated with spider webs. It was the folklore tells the story of a poor family who grew a Christmas tree from a pine cone, as one does. And the children
one
were
does.
excited about decorating their own Christmas tree, but the family was poor and they weren't able to decorate it for the holidays. But when they woke up on Christmas morning, they found that spiders had spun webs around the tree's branches. So today the kids dress up their tree with, like, I'm assuming faux spider webs, or they're squeezing spiders to get these real ones. And it brings luck in the new year if you have
spiders into your home.
Yeah.
Huh, that's cool.
But can you grow a Christmas tree from a pine cone? The rest of the story is fully believable.
Well, but
it would take a really, really long time. So
I mean,
I
if
don't
you're
know.
patient enough, sure. Where else do baby pine trees come from? The cabbage patch?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's going to
I
take
don't
a
think
long
stork
time.
brings them.
It also takes a while for a bunch of spiders to cover a tree. So, like, how long are they sleeping? These guys are taking
It
a long
depends.
time.
How big are the spiders?
Yeah. And
I've seen The Hobbit.
Ugh, I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Gross.
No, thank you. Do y'all have any specific foods that you just have to have at Christmas that scream Christmas? Like in France, it's foie gras and oysters.
Don't they just eat that all the time? Isn't that just...
Well, they
It's just
will
an
eat it
excuse.
all the time, but it's the thing you have to have on Christmas Eve.
In our house, we all want some figgy pudding, and we want it right now.
Hey, damn it, he's not going to leave until he
demand
gets
that figgy pudding?
That's right.
I would eat the foie gras pate, but oysters, ugh, no thank you.
I'll eat any damn thing.
A raw oyster? Ugh. I've eaten fried oysters and they're good, but
Yeah.
I don't want to
Nah.
slide one of those gross, looks like mucus.
Japan has a holiday food that everybody has to have, but it's just a cake. They all have to have some cake, and it has
Aren't
that
they
things
usually-
on it. Like
I stand
pretty much
behind
anything.
that.
You
Yeah,
can
are
get,
they
like,
usually
Godzilla
pretty
cakes,
elaborate?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Pikachu cake. Yeah, you can get an insanely large cake, but it's like you're not celebrating Christmas apparently in Japan if you don't have a cake.
I guess that's
I
like
prefer that over
Christmas
foie gras.
ham here. Everybody
Yeah.
loves that, but we don't really like
Yeah.
turkey, so we already had ham for Thanksgiving. So we're just gonna have lasagna.
Good idea.
We
Lasagna is
we're gonna do
delicious.
Italian for Christmas, and we did ham
Nice.
for Thanksgiving. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
That's a spicy meatball.
Hey, Merry Christmas.
apparently in Venezuela, it's tamales are the traditional Christmas dinner. And
Ooh, yummy.
I'll eat those
on
anytime.
Christmas Eve, when everybody goes to church, for some reason, and nobody seems to know why, but they all go on roller skates. They all roller skate to church,
What?
and it's so popular that roads across the city of Caracas, this is specifically Caracas, they close down the streets so that people can safely roller skate to church on Christmas Eve.
I'm glad they do that because that could really be bad. Roller skating out in traffic to get to mass.
Yeah.
See,
That's fun though. But then, so when you get to mass, are you still wearing your roller skates? Do you have to carry your shoes? Put those.
Yeah,
on
like in the middle of the
Everybody's
service when they're like, all
standing
rise,
there.
is it just like,
Everybody skates down the aisle to communion.
Everybody lives drunk.
oh, my brakes are broken.
I'm into that. So, have you guys heard of the German Christmas pickle that you hide on the tree?
Yes, we
do
have
that.
one. Yeah, we
have
do that.
one.
So, my wife is of German. She was born over there. Her mom's German, and everybody was telling us, "Why don't you?" They knew she was German. They asked why we didn't have a Christmas pickle, and she'd never heard of that. So, we looked it up and oh, okay, here's this thing. So we one time at Epcot in Germany bought the little glass Christmas pickle ornament, and we always have it on our tree. But it wasn't until a long time after that we figured out that was just fake. That it was apparently a glass ornament company came up with this whole fake German tradition that you would buy this ornament, hide it on the tree, and the first adult to find it got some kind of prize or was wished good luck for the year or whatever. But the whole thing is fake, and it still just propagates. But it's one of those things they made it into a tradition, and it's been going so long it now is an actual Christmas tradition.
Like KFC in Japan.
Yeah. And I like pickles, so I'll have an ornament of a
yeah,
pickle.
apparently they bought a bunch of molds
Fake it
from
till you make it,
Germany, and
basically.
they had this pickle one, and they had to figure out how to sell them.
How do we sell this
What are
new
we going to
pickle?
do with this?
See, here I always thought it was like really mandatory in Germany. Like if you did not have a pickle on your tree, that you'd get a knock on your door with a guy being like, "Pickles, please."
Your pickles, please.
Your pickles,
A
please.
couple years
No
ago,
pickles.
Wyatt sang a song about it at his school Christmas concert about the pickle and the tannenbaum, and apparently I had to explain to him that that's a lie.
Yeah.
Called, I got my pickle stuck in the tree
Oh.
again.
What?
Yeah, growing up, we would
That's where the
we would
tradition
always
came
play
from.
hide the pickle with my dad growing up.
Yeah.
I thought it was a German tradition.
It's funny because my dad is not German at all.
Holiday cheer. Have you guys seen the Christmas short that Disney put on Disney Plus? I think is it from Pixar, or is it just Disney Animation Studios, about the Filipino family? The grandma's got an old Mickey Mouse doll that she received when she was a girl.
Oh yeah, the let's
Yeah.
pull your heartstrings to get you to buy
you'll
it.
Yeah, that thing is so sweet.
you'll cry
Yeah.
so many tears. Apparently, that's based on a tradition in the city of San Fernando in the Philippines, and they surrounding towns compete. They build these gigantic paper lanterns that they string across the street, and they kind of have a competition to see which town can make the best lanterns each year.
Cool.
Do they
I
then
hope so.
set
Just
them
like
on fire?
the Yule goat in Sweden.
Fire.
The Yule goat. I think we
What?
talked about this last Christmas, actually. Yeah, they make a
The
giant.
Yule goat?
They make
Well,
a
tell me
giant.
more.
They make a
I
giant, like
don't
30-foot
remember
tall
this.
goat out of bales of straw, and it's supposed to just be like it's just a tradition. But then, and the inadvertent tradition that has been started is that vandals come around and they burn them down every year. Yes,
The wicker
exactly.
The traditional Christmas vandalism. One of my
Since
favorites.
1966, between 1966 and today, the goat has been successfully burned down 30 times, 29 times. Yeah. 13 meters tall.
Well, then that's a tradition. That's part of it at
Exactly.
that point. That's,
Like-
you know.
Yeah,
It's like Burning Man,
Yeah.
but a goat.
but it's a hay goat.
Hey, goat.
I'm sure. I just wonder how Nicolas Cage feels about that.
Goats!
How to get burned? How to get burned? Oh, the bees! No, not the bees! They're in my eye! Oh. Sorry.
The traditional Nicolas Cage Christmas.
Oh, Christmas tradition.
In Norway, you hide your broom on Christmas Eve so the witches can't steal it.
I do that every day.
Well, how will they-
Anyway.
Well,
fly
that's
around.
but then how are you going to sweep your floor if the witches steal your broom?
That's fair.
It's the everlasting battle between witches and
I just love that witches can't get their own brooms. Like they've got all this
why do they
power
have to
and all
steal
these
your
like.
broom?
Yeah,
You
you
would
can't
think
get a broom. Have you not been to the Ace Hardware there, lady? Come on.
They're not allowed in
Dang
there.
it. Everybody hid their brooms. What are we going to do now?
Christmas is ruined again.
Does that fall in as which?
Maybe next year. It's hard being a witch at Christmas.
boy.
Good times.
Tradition.
I'm out of tradition.
I think I'm gonna start doing the Japanese tradition that kids are only allowed to ask and get one present in Japan.
That is a good tradition.
Sounds really great for people that have children.
Yeah.
But what if they ask for something you can't afford?
Ah.
I don't know. I mean, if I'm gonna start the tradition, I'll just put
Yeah.
a price limit on it too.
Yeah. $50, kid. That's all
50
you
and
get.
under.
I mean, we just straight up said that Santa only brings one gift per child and that he only buys small things. Big things can come from mom and dad, but Santa only brings little things. That
Santa only does two things for
Yeah.
us, but yeah. I gotta have a talk with him because apparently I didn't get a good deal with him.
Remember when you had kids young enough to believe in Santa Claus?
The Wyatt still does.
Aw, he's
Are you talking about
19
Jeff
years
still
old.
does?
Well, we always went the opposite route. I didn't want him to think that we could afford good stuff.
Yeah.
So
I usually
Santa
go
always
through
brought
other
the
stuff.
really good stuff, and Mom and Dad gave the normal.
Then you can play it off the rest of the year. Be like,
Socks, the box of socks.
Yeah. But so when he was starting to question a little bit, he'd be like, well, is Santa real? And we're like, what do you think? He goes, well, I don't think you guys could afford any of this stuff. It's like, perfect.
Mission.
well, y'all are cheapskates, so it's obviously not you.
It's clearly real because y'all are broke.
Yeah, your broke ass couldn't have gotten me this computer.
Mission accomplished. All right.
That's pretty
But
smart.
it worked. He
I dig
still
it.
thinks we can't afford anything. And actually, this year he's correct.
Oh.
Why am I laughing?
Thanks, 2020.
Well, before we say goodnight and put out our milk and cookies for Santas and the rice porridge to appease the murderous house elves.
And your shoes out to receive a little coin from St.
all
Nicholas.
the other things.
Mhm.
Put your broom in the closet.
Yeah.
Hide your room.
Light our Yule goats on fire.
Take it next to the tree.
Our to-do
I'm
list just
doing
keeps
all
on
of those
growing.
things. It really does.
Oh, let's be honest. Take it next to the tree is pretty top of the list.
I just did.
Oh,
Thanks for
About
hanging
Tuesday,
out
we're
with us
done
again this
recording.
week. If you're excited to experience unique global holiday traditions or explore anywhere else around the world, Key to the World Travel has the world's largest Christmas stocking, measuring 168.5 feet long and 71 feet wide, full of expert travel planners, ready to make your vacation dreams a reality. Head to www.keytotheworldtravel.com to get started with a no-obligation quote. Don't forget to catch up with our friend, the Theme Park Professor, for all the latest theme park news and tips at www.themeparkprofessor.com. Word of mouth is always the best way to help us grow our show. If you have a friend or two who you think would appreciate our special brand of globetrotting jackassery, tell them what makes our show so great and send them our way. You can find links to subscribe to our show on all of your favorite apps at www.goldkeyadventures.com. We can't wait to hang out with you again next week, and I hope the season has brought you happy holidays, a Merry Christmas, a cool Yule, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Festivus, Solstice, Candle Nights, or whatever winter holiday tradition you celebrate. We'll see you real soon.
Dear Santa, I know it's been a rough year, and I know I've talked a lot of trash. But if there's one thing that I could have this year, just one thing at all, it'd be for Flo's to reopen. Because that would mean Disneyland would be reopened too.
I would eat at Flo's if it meant we could go to Disneyland.
I'd happily drink a milkshake out of a plastic trophy.
None of those
To
things.
ask a question or share your travel story, you can reach us by smoke signal, carrier pigeon, or send an email to goldkeyadventurers@gmail.com. And make sure you follow the Gold Key Adventure Society on Facebook and Instagram. A huge thanks to our sponsor, Key to the World Travel. For all your travel planning needs, visit www.keytotheworldtravel.com for a free quote and help planning the trip of a lifetime. Tell them the Gold Key Adventurers sent you. That's www.keytotheworldtravel.com. Key to the World Travel, your key to a magical vacation. Thanks to Outer Vibe for the use of their song Hoka Hey for the intro and outro of our show. Find them on Facebook at The Outer Vibe or check out www.outervibe.com for tour dates, music, merch, and more. We'll see you next week for another meeting of the Gold Key Adventure Society. And until then, remember, life is short and the world is wide. So go have an adventure. Oh, hello there. Welcome to the Gold Key Adventures Society. You threw off my groove.